Look, one thing's for sure. Dexter isn't winning any Father of the Year awards anytime soon. Hello, everyone. Terrence here with Hollywood Already Did It. If you haven't already, go ahead, like, share, subscribe to that channel, ring that bell below. Anytime we have something, you'll be among the first to know. So between True Story, which you need to see, and this episode of Dexter, I need to invest in some blood pressure medication. Stat. This episode of Dexter New Blood, titled Runaways, sees the web of lies that Dexter has sort of created and manifested start caving in. Some most to his own undoing and his amazing parenting skills. So we open this episode with Dexter and Deb having a pretty emotional come to Jesus moment about what to do with Harrison and Harrison's dark passenger. What's interesting is that we get Dexter sort of revealing to us, because this is an inner monologue, that's all this is. But he's revealing to us that he feels he's a monster, which he's always thought something was wrong with him. But what we also get is that he sort of feels that Harrison is a child abuser for putting him into the position and prepping him and grooming him of how to get away with all these bodies. I think as an audience we've always felt that way, but it is interesting hearing the character Dexter via Deb, the right of reason in this, but hearing him feel that way as well. It's interesting looking to his psyche. We then get a major reveal. We get the reveal that Kurt Caldwell is the one who has been hunting and sniping these young women. He has the green-haired runaway that he had from the previous episode. He gives her a room, and we see that it is the room that we have seen earlier that has the camera that says you're already dead and all of that elaborate stuff. He has been grooming these people to hunt them. He's our killer, and what we learn as the episode goes along is that he is only in this for the kill. Like, he enjoys the hunt and the game of it. This young lady tries to use her sexuality to get out of it, and it repulses Kurt. Generally, he closes the computer. He's just all grossed out. He gets viscerally angry. It has nothing to do with any type of sexual manifestation that he has towards his runaways. There is something else. He just wants the hunt, which lets us know that gender does not matter in these runaways. It just happens to be that the majority of the people that run away in this town are women. I also question now, knowing this, why he's keeping the ruse of his son being alive going. We know what has happened to his son, but it is interesting to me that he is obviously what I said before. He's trying to get everyone to lower their guard so that they may slip up and say something. But if he knows that he's doing this stuff to these runaways and these women, I would imagine that he doesn't want any unnecessary attention from the police on him. So this seems to just be the opposite of that. Maybe he doesn't think that they will continue on. Maybe he thinks they'll just drop it. But if they start leading to these breadcrumbs, it is just creating the seeds that they're going to come back to him, not for this, they're going to come back to him for the that stuff. Like, why are you even doing this? And then kind of question this a part of it. So it's interesting that he's playing this long game to get people to figure out what's happened to his son, but he's also going to bring some unneeded attention on to him. It's just a weird way to do that. But it also shows you that he's not all the way there in the brain. Dexter confronts Harrison about the blade, and it goes south yet again. Dexter is just not good at parenting, but more importantly, he's not good at emotions or saying his emotions, especially for people that he cares about. He's always been that person that when it comes to Deb or Harrison or Hannah or anyone else that he's actually had emotional feelings for, he is not the person capable of releasing that feelings. He only knows one way to sort of emote, and that's through vengeance, through death. He sucks at this. He sucks at parenting, and it is evident here. So Harrison storms off and gets invited to this kill party, where he is the guest of honor. It's all these folks who are on that list. They're partying for they get to live another day. You know how kids are. They're like, yes, we are still here, and so they're getting jacked up. And Harrison has a good time. Beer, drugs, making out with random women, knife cutting, trying to cut an H in someone's name, and just taking every drug humanly possible, and revealing that your dad's name isn't really Jim. Harrison's out here living his best life until, well, he's not, and he ODs. And Audrey freaks out, calls the police, which in this case is Logan, because we'll get in it later. her mom is on a road trip, but calls Logan. Logan revitalizes Harrison just by the nick of time, and he gets to the hospital. Dexter shows up, super pissed, infuriated. Logan tries to give him some parenting advice, and he's not trying to hear that. And it's actually sound advice. Now, Logan may not be a father, but he's clearly been the father figure or parent to a lot of people that have been on this wrestling team. Dexter, never been a father. He just became this like a week ago. So he may have should have taken some of this into to heart. He doesn't. The only way that he knows to emote and get back and show that he cares for somebody is need to murder anyone who has harmed anybody that is saddened in my wake of people that I care about. It's a choice. It's a way to deal with it, but it's not healthy, and it causes a lot of problems and a lot of tension in this episode. A lot of tension for me. Maybe not for Dexter, but for me. Watching this had me on the edge of my seat. Well, Dexter is in full vengeance mode and gets sloppy. He goes to the vet and grabs some supplies. He gets some plastic wrap. He gets some syringes. He gets some trank drugs. I mean, he's in it. He's ready. So Dexter gets the name of the seller of these drugs via Logan, who interrogated some kids at the party. And he goes, like he would, take matters into his own hands. And he goes and gets a beer at the bar and attempts to make his move on Miles. And unfortunately, it does not go correctly because as he's putting the syringe in Miles' neck, the police show up. Jesus Christ, Dexter. And he has to sort of abort. So he throws the syringe into the snow and he just starts beating the shit out of Miles to at least make it look like that he's an angry father going after the drug dealer who OD'd his kid. It fits. It makes sense. Logan buys it. And they're off. He asks him to follow him to the police station. And at the police station, Dexter does not realize that he's already made a mistake and he's gotten away with it. He continues, he one-ups it. And Miles delivers who the supplier is of the drug chain. And through eavesdropping and all this, Dexter gets that info, knows that he has 12 hours before Logan gets a warrant to go to apprehend this man. And he makes his beeline over there to try and kill that man. And he is in full kill mode. He is very unnerving and very sloppy. He's not doing his normal surveillance, assessing the land. He's not doing any of that. He's just going guns blazing. He's in full vengeance mode. His code be damned. He's just not doing it. And even he has a moment where Deb comes in, his conscience comes in. He's like, this isn't your code. This is vengeance. He's like, yep. And he just gets out and does it. He breaks into this person's. He does a breaking and entering, not really knowing what this house looks like, not having any map. There are no plans to what he is doing, which is why it ends up the way that it does. And he has this man laid out on his kill table, getting ready to do it. And you guessed it, Logan is really good at his job. And he is waiting outside for the rest of the team to get there with the warrant so that they can break in and enter in this. So he's got a full plastic mode, and Dexter has to think on the fly again because he is sloppy. So he uncuts him, he puts some coke into his nose, and he sort of alters how he was going to kill him. He doesn't do him the stab way. He does still kill him, but he makes it look like it's an overdose. So the team comes in to execute the warrant, and they see that he is at this table with his drug paraphernalia, his drug situation, that he's all been making drugs, and he is dead. Logan's pissed. And Dexter is sloppy. So back with Kurt. Kurt attempts to let the runaway go. She has found the mirror that was done from the previous girl that was there who shattered the mirror. She put it on the pillow. She's found that and has it. And Kurt opens the door and says, "You're free to go." And she's like, "Nah, you got to come get me." And he's pissed. He puts on his mask. He comes downstairs. He's prepped to take her. And she slices his cheek. He has a little mark, and then he manhandles her, takes her outside, and it's like, run. Because his goal, he doesn't want to shoot anybody face to face. He gets off on having some run away, and then he hunts them. He keeps referring to as hunt. Fortunately, she's not having that. She runs towards him, and he shoots her right in the eye. And then he shoots her again to, I guess, make it look like a hunt or feel. I'm not sure how that's going to come back, but he shoots her again. But it's clearly not what he wanted. It's sort of breaking the veil of how he normally does this. And he sort of loses his sort of calm demeanor. He starts smacking himself in the head. There are a lot of screws loose with this dude. And it makes you think that the Matt thing, there's more to it than what's going on, because this dude's not all the way there. Uh, while this is happening, like while Dexter is off gallivanting, trying to murder the guy who gave another guy the drugs to OD your son instead of just talking to your son. While all that's happening, he runs away. Harrison decides to run away. And you can see where this is going with the title Runaway, where we had at the beginning, it all comes full circle. Kurt pulls up and sees Harrison running away and attempts to groom him the same way that he groomed the green-haired girl that we've seen before, which leads me to see why that note of the sexuality turning him off was so important. Doesn't matter the gender. He just goes with the runaways or the forgotten or the cast-offs who are seeking to leave, and no one probably will care for them. So he starts grooming Harrison. He gets him the food that he gave to the other girl. He gives him the application. Like, his MO is the same. And so he is setting this up so that he's eventually going to take Harrison, and calamity is going to ensue. Either via Harrison, who's not all the way there, or you know who's going to come after him, and it's going to get messy. But before it does, story C of this episode is a doozy. It seems so simple. Angela and Mary are going to go on a Thelma and Louise road trip because they want to go find out and visually see who it is that is spending the money or using the car that's from Matt Caldwell at this hotel up in Upper New York. So they take a road trip and they go. While there, it's going to be a minute before the security tape gets cleared, so they go to see a police convention that is happening up there. And at this press conference is none other than Dexter original series favorite, Angel Batista. Still in those wonderful fedoras and hats that he would wear in Miami as a Miami character, but he's wearing them in New York, which is just, that's Angel. And he's sort of just having a TED Talk, if you will, about the Trinity Killer and the Betty Harbor Butcher and kind of what they had to do to solve these cases. And that sort of gets Angela intrigued. And so she wants to have a one-on-one with him after the convention. So far, cool. She and them have a conversation. And of course, Angel, being who he is, has to try to mac on her. He has to try to get in them draws. But it does not work. She lets him know, like, no, I have a boyfriend who axes trees. And so, axes more than that. In that conversation that they were having, they get back on the Trinity Killer, and she's like, and you solved those? He's like, yeah, but I had the help. I had Deborah Morgan. And she's like, well, can we get Deborah Morgan to help on this? And he's like, well, she's dead. And so is her brother. It's a bit of a tragedy. He had a wonderful son, sweet kid. And he kind of walks off like, I don't remember his name. Oh, whew. Good. No harm, no foul. And then he does remember the name. It's Harrison. Oh, damn. Oh, boy. Look, on the surface, not that big of a deal. There's no reason for her to look further into it because it doesn't really mean anything. Harrison's not the common name. You don't necessarily put two and two together until she goes home. She talks to her daughter Audrey, who mentions that while having this drug stupor, Harrison mentioned that Jim's not really his real name, and that gets the wheels turning for Angela. Because she is, while in the small town, she's good at her job. So she goes to the police station, uses that wonderful computer that is going to, like I said, be the do-in for Mr. Dexter Morgan, types up obituaries for Dexter Morgan, and we get a shot of a printout of Dexter Morgan's name with Dexter Morgan's face, also known as Jim. Well, shit. There's a lot that happened in this episode. It was a really, really up and down, like, tension-filled episode. You get the reveal of who the person is killing these runaway girls and get to see him sort of mess up in that situation. You get Harrison showing the ability to get back on that drug bender, and when he does, he's not really in control of who he is. Drugs and alcohol do not do well for him, and he is not as good at keeping things in because he feels like his father's pushing him away. We get Dexter not being able to actually emote or talk to his son, and the only thing that he knows to make this better or to fix this situation is to go out and kill the people who may have caused harm to his kid, as opposed to just having a heart-to-heart with his kid. And then Angela. She is going to be heated when she has this conversation with Jim. I don't know how she's going to handle it. Because there's still not much information that Dexter is a killer. But I feel like if she starts going to, if Angela, let's say if Angel comes back, she mentions to Angel, like, yo, Dexter's here. If all of that starts coming into play, this web in the world becomes a lot tighter for Dexter, and I don't know how he's going to get out of it, especially if Harrison is taken. Harrison's taken, and then all of this stuff starts to sort of come into him. People may start looking at Dexter, and he may not be able to get away and move as freely as he used to. All the stuff that he was like getting in, hanging out in the police station and eavesdropping and all that stuff, getting hugs and all that, that's going to go away. So the ability to get information is not going to be as readily for him as he continues on. So he's going to have to start thinking outside the box, and he really needs to get his emotions in check. I know it's not his emotions, but he needs to really get his head on straight and start using that code, because I think what this is showing up is going to be is that he is going to have to find Kurt after he's taken Harrison, and I think while he's either killing Kurt, either Harrison is going to see him doing so, or Angela is going to see him doing so, and then that whole sheen of the world is going to be lost. But this was a fantastic episode. Heart palpitations aside, this is a doozy. What did you guys think about the 5th episode of Dexter New Blood, Runaway? Go ahead and leave your thoughts and comments in the comments below. If you haven't already, you can follow us on Twitter at HollywoodADI, or you can hit us up on email at HollywoodAlreadyDidIt@gmail.com. We also have a podcast with the same name. It's on Google Podcasts, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, anywhere that plays podcasts. We're there. But like always, I got my ticket. You got yours.